You're not going to believe this. As election day nears, both campaigns are trying everything they can to sway voters. Trump's been busy on the Joe Rogan Experience, hosting huge rallies and inviting Elon Musk to speak at some of them. Meanwhile, Harris's team is taking a different approach, lining up celebrity endorsements to boost her profile. Today, we're talking about one of those stars, the longtime climate advocate Leonardo DiCaprio, because his endorsement video sent shockwaves across the internet for all the wrong reasons. But before I go on with the video, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos like this.
Earlier this month, Hurricanes Helene and Milton devastated parts of Florida, Georgia, and North Carolina. Families lost homes, livelihoods, and loved ones to some of the strongest Atlantic hurricanes ever recorded. These storms have done an estimated $100 billion in damage, and make no mistake, these unnatural disasters were caused by climate change. Donald Trump continues to deny the facts. He continues to deny the science. He withdrew the United States from the Paris Climate Accords and rolled back critical environmental protections. Now he's promised the oil and gas industry that he'll get rid of any regulation they want in exchange for $1 billion donation.
Imagine this. Entire communities are torn apart by these deadly hurricanes. Families lost everything. People are currently trying to rebuild from scratch. And then you open up Instagram or X and you see some political ad using your pain to score a few cheap points. It's like pouring more fuel on an already raging fire, and it's not like Trump or the right are climate change deniers. They just call for a more balanced approach to deal with it. I mean, Elon Musk, who is more than just an activist when it comes to this issue, is on Team Trump. On top of that, an Oxfam investigation revealed that the World Bank lost track of at least $24 billion that were meant to fight climate change. A statement by Oxfam read, quote, "There is no clear public record showing where this money went or how it was used," adding, quote, "It wasn't even unclear whether funds sent to poorer countries to fight global warming were even spent on climate change projects. I think someone should show this to Leo, and maybe then he'd make some better videos on topics that matter more than taking cheap shots at political opponents." But that's not all, because he also tried to frame Kamala as some sort of environmental champion.
Climate change is killing the earth and ruining our economy. We need a bold step forward to save our economy, our planet, and ourselves. That's why I'm voting for Kamala Harris. She helped lead the most significant climate action in U.S. history, including passing the Inflation Reduction Act. Under her leadership, we set ambitious targets for achieving net zero emissions by 2050 and building a green economy that not only creates jobs, but also helps save our planet.
It is beyond hypocritical how the left tries to frame Harris as the person responsible for the Inflation Reduction Act, which did the exact opposite of what the name suggests. Yet when the topic shifts to the border crisis, a problem that has spiraled out of control since the Biden administration took office, their narrative changes. Suddenly Harris's role is minimized, with her campaign framing her as just the vice president, suggesting her limited influence and sidelining any direct responsibility. This is nothing but a way to dodge accountability and is a clear double standard. If she wants to showcase herself as a leader, a genuine sense of responsibility across all issues is necessary. You can't cherry-pick achievements while ignoring failures. Plus, I wouldn't pick Kamala's policy track record as a narrative to push my agenda on, because she's known for flip-flopping at best and not even having a clear policy at worst. Even CNN noticed it and had this to say about her.
On the table for the U.S. oil industry and oil production, but not the way it always was. What did you find?
Yeah, that's right, Aaron, and this really shows sort of just how far left that Kamala Harris got in that 2019 Democratic primary when she was running with Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. She was making this extremely bold promise that she was going to take the U.S. oil industry, possibly criminally prosecute them for their role in climate change. She compared it to big tobacco, saying they knew the effects of climate change, but they hid it from the public. Now we saw there, fast forward to 2024, what are her and Tim Walz doing? They are touting the record domestic oil production from those same oil companies during the Biden-Harris administration.
Yep, even Harris isn't the environmental hero her campaign tries to frame her as. In fact, her policy stance on the issue is not very clear at all. The Guardian even released an article earlier this month saying, quote, "Democratic presidential nominee has raised alarm about Trump's plans, but has not said much about her own." By the way, I've noticed that you haven't liked the video or subscribed to the channel yet, so what are you waiting for? This is not the only climate where Kamala has done this either. Her stances are all over the place, and the only constant in them is that she flip-flopped on a lot of them. You see, during the 2020 primaries, she initially supported Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All plan, only to later backtrack, saying she envisioned it differently and clarifying she wouldn't eliminate private insurance. Instead of offering new or detailed policies to address issues like inflation, crime, or the ongoing border crisis, Harris's campaign more often than not focuses on vague messages about unity and progress. This inconsistency not only creates skepticism about her leadership, but also weakens her campaign's impact, especially as voters need clear stances on the major challenges facing the country today. She also used Hurricane Milton as a political tool just a couple of weeks ago as she went back and forth with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, accusing him of being utterly irresponsible and not doing the job that he took an oath to do, which led to the following response from him.
So for Kamala Harris to try to say that my sole focus on the people of Florida is somehow selfish is delusional. She has no role in this. In fact, she's been vice president for 3.5 years. I've dealt with a number of storms under this administration. She has never contributed anything to any of these efforts. And so what I think is selfish is her trying to blunder into this.
That's terrible, and this news flew under the radar for many because of how insane the lead up to the current election is. But DeSantis was in contact with FEMA and President Biden to get critical disaster relief rolling for Florida. This wasn't about red or blue for him, it was about making sure Floridians got the help they needed. He also had one final thing to say about Kamala, and I think he summed it up perfectly.
I've had storms under both President Trump and President Biden, and I've worked well with both of them. She's the first one who's trying to politicize the storm, and she's doing that just because of her campaign. She's trying to get some type of an edge. She knows she's doing poorly, and so she's playing these political games. I don't have time for political games. I've got people whose lives are on the line. I've got people whose homes and their possessions are on the line, and we are focused 100% on that mission. I'm not worried about playing her political games.
Whether you think Kamala's campaign is struggling or not, you cannot deny the fact that what DeSantis said here is what it all boils down to. They're trying to politicize these hurricanes, thinking they'll gain the upper hand, but it's a cheap and damaging tactic. When communities are hit by hurricanes, wildfires, or floods, they are dealing with genuine human loss, trauma, and long, painful recoveries. These events call for compassion and unity, not division rhetoric aimed at scoring political points. When leaders should be showing that disaster response is above partisan politics, politicizing these tragedies sends the opposite message, and that is even in times of crisis. Political points come first. Think about it. Hurricanes have devastated the southeastern United States for decades. We're talking about major storms like Hurricane Katrina, Hurricane Michael, and even more recently, Hurricane Ian. People remember those names because they left scars, and to see these kind of disasters turn into a political jab is nothing but disrespectful in my opinion. I'd love to know your thoughts on this. Do you think Leo's video was a hit or a major miss? Let's get the conversation rolling in the comments down below. Oh, and by the way, if you want your friends to be as informed as you, share the video with them. Thanks for watching.